Hello Giants fans, welcome to Giants Baseball 101. I'm Gabe Vaughn, your host. The Giants beat the Reds 7-6 today. This one was a comeback win in the ninth inning, a walk-off comebacker in the ninth. Sean Manaea pitched the first couple of innings and his velocity showed, which is a good sign. I think it really reflects the work he's done this offseason based on what I read about it. That's a good thing because I don't think any of us would really have set our hopes real high on Manaea, although the Giants did think he was, obviously they did think they should take a 2-year $25 million chance on him. That's the contract they signed him to. But I haven't talked to anyone who thinks that Manaea is going to be good, and the Zips projections do not favor him. So it's just a really good sign that we see his velocity, and whether that means that he has more in the tank than we thought. If so, that'd really be great. I don't know where he's going to fit in the rotation, whether it'll be in the rotation or whether he'll ultimately be in a multi-innings guy in the bullpen, whether to relieve the starter or to kind of mop up the innings in a blowout game. And the extra inning man, you don't really need that anymore with the automatic runner, so probably not going to see him pitching multiple innings there, but whatever Manaea's role is going to be, and it could be as a fifth starter in the rotation. Obviously, we also don't know about what injuries the Giants could have, something you just never can tell, and just plenty of stories in the past of how the Giants have just missed out on wins at the games they should have won because somebody's gotten injured just at the wrong time. And the Giants, as far as their rotation, they do have the depth to back up those pitchers. Point is quality, though. It's not that they don't have, a quantity of pitchers that have a good chance of being at least acceptable. I think the main thing in question here is quality. Like, it's not they don't have guys to step up. It's that how are they going to pitch? Are they going to have like 300 ERAs or better? Or are we just going to have a bunch of 2022 Alex Wood seasons or Anthony DeSclafani when he wasn't on the injured list type of seasons? Or, and you asked the same thing for starting pitching prospects. I talked a bit about that yesterday, like Kyle Harrison when he comes up. Whenever that happens, we'll certainly see him start this spring training at some point. But when he does, if he's like Tyler Beede was in 2019, I talk about the Giants' lost 2019 season, and I blame multiple factors. I've talked about their failure to add at the trade deadline that year. That was terrible. But one thing I really haven't mentioned yet is Tyler Beede's just despicable performance in 2019. He had kind of a good hot streak, and then he just pitched start after start where he was giving up hard contact, losing games. It was just terrible. So I think that was a huge contributor to the Giants' failure to make the playoffs in 2019. It wasn't the only thing, but it was just a huge contributor. I just do not understand why Beede was given the chance to work through his struggles like he was. He had minor league options. Well, why didn't he go to the minors? To me, that's beyond all explanation. Why was he given the chance that he was in 2019? But here in 2023, we don't know how the prospect pitchers are going to turn out. We don't know how veteran Sean Manaea will turn out either. The whole depth of the starting rotation, it's a big question, but hopefully the Giants manage their roster this time and only give the guys chances who, deserve them. Joey Bart doubled in a run. He had an RBI double, which that's a good sign from him in his first game of the year. David Villar struck out twice, so if he's in competition at all with Casey Schmidt, he better kind of perk up. Probably not a good way for him to get started, but it's just the first game for both of these third basemen. Will Wilson, he was the guy who ultimately singled to walk it off for the Giants in the ninth inning. But as far as the good performance we've seen from prospects, you probably, so Joey Bart's not a prospect anymore. Excuse me. The good performance we've seen from these guys who are still developing, that's all good, but you also want to see really what happens when we get to the point where teams kind of narrow down their spring training rosters, send guys to minor league camp, and play more with the guys they plan to use, more with their major league guys of the regular season. That's what you really want to see. Guys that have seen time in the majors, like for the Giants, that would be Joey Bart, and yes, David VR as well, and I mean, all these guys, even guys you haven't, like Blake Sabol, I don't believe he's been in the majors with any team. I can't think offhand. I think he might have been a Rule 5 pick for the Giants. I'll have to check on that. But yeah, all these guys here, you see them and they kind of start out great, hitting and pitching against, a lot of minor leaguers, guys who are not going to make opening day rosters for the opposing teams. And that's all great, but you really need to see what happens once we get down to actual major league competition. The guys that stay in big league camp, what do? That's what you got to see really for their whole quality, because it's really about the competition they're going to be playing against. They're going to be good against major league competition. If so, then they're major league level quality players. To me, that's how you evaluate. Thank you for watching. This has been Giants Baseball 101. Please subscribe if you haven't. You know where to leave questions and comments. I hope to see some. I'll see you next time on Giants Baseball 101.